Uh, Good day, family. Counselor Edwards here again today to talk to you about another, counseling tip that I want to leave with you. Now, today on our counseling channel, I want to speak with you about being facing my childhood sexual abuse as an adult. All right, I want to talk to you about facing my childhood sexual abuse as an adult. Good. Many adults have faced childhood sexual abuse and don't know what to do with themselves. No, many adults have not spoken to anybody about the childhood sexual abuse that they have gone through. And so, as a result of that, they struggle as an adult with this reality that they have to deal with. That as a child, somebody sexually assaulted them and took away their innocence. All right. So, today, I just want to shed some light on that because I've been getting many calls and having to set up counseling sessions for these adults who are still struggling with that childhood sexual molestation that they encountered that was not dealt with within the childhood years, and it is taking a toll on them. All right. Now, study shows that in every 9 minutes, a child is sexually abused. Now, that is a very short time. Imagine that every 9 minutes, a child is sexually abused. Not only that, so this also shows that 1 in every 5 children is sexually abused. Oh my goodness, can you believe that? All right. So, with that is happening, childhood sexual abuse, in which I will call today CSA, right? Childhood sexual abuse. Let's dub it CSA, all right? Now, there are many effects of CSA, which is childhood sexual abuse. Effects such as guilt, right? Many persons who suffer from childhood sexual abuse face a lot of guilt, feeling as if it was their fault, all right, when their innocence was taken away from them by some perpetrator, whether it's a family, a friend of the family, a total stranger, or whoever it might have been. All right. So guilt comes with childhood sexual abuse, and so even as adults who have experienced that still feel guilt as they go through the lifespan. All right. But we're here to help you today to understand that though you may be feeling guilt as a result of some form of childhood sexual abuse that you would have gone through, right? You do not have to allow those guilty feelings to condemn you, to let you feel less than your best self, or to stop you from enjoying your best life. All right. So today we're talking to the adults. Another effect of childhood sexual abuse that adults go through as they remember what they had encountered as a child is shame. Yes, many adults are living in shame today based on the fact that they were abused sexually as a child. It's not only females that are sexually abused as a child, there are males who have gone through childhood sexual abuse. So I'm talking to our males today and our females who may have gone through that, awful experience as a child, and as an adult now they are struggling to deal with that situation that occurred to them. But I'm here with good news today as your counselor to let you know that there is hope even after childhood sexual abuse, and there is hope for you as an adult, and you can manage what you have gone through now even better than a child, because we're going to give you coping mechanisms and strategies before I leave today that you can use to deal with it. All right. So shame, as every other boy or girl was able to go through, maybe they still were virgins, and your virginity, whether you're male or female, may have been taken away from you. So the shame which comes with childhood sexual abuse. No, another effect of childhood sexual abuse is blame. So the child in you as an adult now tends to want to blame you, all right, for what took place, maybe for where you was at the time, or for who you were around, or for just the simple blame of what happened to you. Many children, when they are sexually assaulted, they blame themselves, good or sometimes the perpetrators lead them into believing it is their fault that they were sexually assaulted. But today I'm here to tell you that you need not blame yourself as an adult for that childhood sexual abuse that you have gone through. All right. It was just a bad situation, an unfortunate situation that happened to you as a child, that as counselors we wish would not happen to no other child in this world. If I had the power to let childhood sexual abuse be no more, I would so use that power. All right, but the only power I have now is to counsel and talk to you, and so I'm giving you some advice today. Another childhood sexual abuse effect is that we suffer from, or adults suffer from, is anxiety attacks. Many adults right now, even though the childhood sexual abuse have gone for many years ago, they still find that they suffer from shortness of breath or queasiness in the chest. They begin to shake when the memories come back. They begin to tighten up, stiffen up, or they even want to run or to hide, and these were feelings and emotions that they would have experienced as a child, in those moments, that is really reliving itself now as an adult in this experience. Okay, so many adults who have gone through childhood sexual abuse suffer from anxiety attacks. Also, fear. Sometimes, as adults, those of you or those of us who have gone through maybe childhood sexual abuse would realize that there's some amount of fear, especially if our perpetrator is still alive, or fear of certain places that that adults may have been taken as a child when those acts were done, maybe in a dark room, maybe under a cellar, maybe in some bushes. So persons tend to have fear of those kind of places because it brings those survivors of childhood sexual abuse back to that hurtful, painful place that they lost their innocence and they were taken disadvantage of. All right, feeling of being robbed of your innocence, robbed of your virginity, if you will, not being able to say like other persons that you were able to maintain your virginity till XYZ time, but to know that you were robbed of that because of some callous hearted, most times than not, older persons, be it male or female, who chose not to control themselves and to allow their perverted minds to indulge in sexual activity with a child that is so helpless and innocent. All right, so the feeling of being robbed. Now, many adults, even though they're adults and they are survivors of CSA, and again, CSA stands for childhood sexual abuse, they tend to feel dirty. Yes, dirty in the body when they think of this male or female coming over them and doing all kinds of illicit stuff to them. Makes you feel dirty and crony and just nasty. All right, so that's another effect of childhood sexual abuse. Let your body feel all right. Many persons that are adults now suffer from low self-esteem and low self-concept as a result of having gone through childhood sexual abuse. All right, and so these are just some of the effects. There are many more effects, but today we'll just touch those few. Now, with all these effects of childhood sexual abuse, I want you to understand that for each one there are steps that you can take to diminish these feelings and to overcome these experiences and to live your best life. All right, also another effect that we see where childhood sexual abuse is concerned for both males and females is that when they go into intimate relationships, whether marriage or form intimate relationship, they may tend to withdraw from their spouse. They may tend to not be able to enjoy fully this sexual relationship because it takes them back to their childhood. Some adults will find out that they quiver when it's time to have sexual intercourse. Some adults will find that they are fearful of the gender that caused them this childhood harm. Some individuals suffer great anger as a result of what was done to them, and so an intimate partner or a spouse may wonder, what is it, why is he or she locked down or locked down their body when it comes on to sex, the sexual act. Well, that is one of the signs that you can look out for where a partner is concerned, is that they tend to shut down sexually. when they are being sexually abused. However, on the other hand, some individual becomes very promiscuous and start to live a outlandish sexual lifestyle when they were taken disadvantage of as a child sexually. So it can range from one end of the pendulum to the other end of the pendulum, all right? Also, some adults, they don't become wanton or promiscuous or sexual outlandish, neither do they lock down, but they still find themselves at a comfortable place and is able to manage a kind of a relationship. But for whatever it is, or for whatever it's worth, you can help that person, if it's your spouse or your intimate partner, to overcome that kind of sexual feeling. But it will take time, because you'll be surprised to know that a woman or a man of 20, 30, 40, or even 50 would have gone through a sexual situation between the ages of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or earlier or later than that, still can feel at those older ages as if the sexual act has just been taken place. All right, so we have to be mindful of that and to give them time to heal and to help them too during their healing journey. All right, another effect of this adults that affects adults who have gone through CSA is that it can affect their work output and their general friendships, their like of a certain gender or their dislike of a certain gender. All right, so I want you to understand today that childhood sexual abuse does have its negative effects in adults. All right, many adults chose to be silent about the situation and did not speak to anybody about it because of fear, shame, and blame. Other adults may have found that when they wanted to speak to somebody about what took place, whether the sexual abuse took place within their family, which we call incest, or it took place with a stranger or family friend, they would realize that when they were trying to tell somebody about it, they were blamed, or they were beaten, or they were made to feel less than they are, or they met upon some form of resistance. All right, so everybody who has gone through some form of sexual abuse as a child, they have their own stories, and how they deal with it is different. But I'm here to encourage those persons that all hope is not lost, and there is recovery and survival, and you can even thrive even after having experienced childhood sexual abuse. All right, now I want you to take some points down as you go on your healing journey through this childhood sexual trauma that you may have gone through. Now, there is no set time. One, there is no set timeline for dealing with and recovering from childhood sexual abuse. No, there is no set timeline. As long as you don't deal with it, because it's something you have to face, If you keep suppressing and burying the experience without allowing the experience to come into your mind at times and point finger to what is it saying to you. Your mind wants to be healed from it. Your body wants to be healed from it. Your heart needs to be healed from it. But for it to be healed from it, you cannot just suppress it or push it aside or avoid it. When the memories come, think about it as an adult now. Remember, you're no longer a child. You have much control over what you're going through now, and so you can face it. All right, face it in your mind and talk to it and deal with it. And of course, if you can find your pastor or a counselor or a mentor, a trusted friend or some family member that you can share the experience with, it is very good to talk about it once you can manage to. All right, I know some persons tell themselves that they'll never talk about it. Fine, we can't kill those persons, but for those who are willing to open up and to share, because talking is therapy. All right, and when you're able to find someone, again, whether it's psychologists like us or pastors or some trusted friend or family member, and they can sit and listen to you, and you can recapture that moment in your mind and relate it, and you get that level of support that you need. That is a part of the healing process. All right, now everybody deal with their childhood sexual abuse differently and take different amount of time. So we're not here to rush anybody. Don't rush yourself. Take as much time as you need as you recover from that childhood sexual abuse. No, I want you to tell yourself also and know and believe that it was not your fault. It wasn't your fault. All right, some adults, some older than you. Maybe it was an older child than you sexually assaulted you. It's not your fault. They were the one who came and abused you in such a way. So it's not your fault. You're only a defenseless child that was taken disadvantage of in a vulnerable moment. All right. I want you to know also that you are not used or damaged goods. Come on. You are not used or damaged goods as a result of childhood sexual abuse. So if you're an adult and you feel less than, you are. I'm here to tell you today as your counselor that no, you're not a used goods and you're not damaged goods. You're as good as anybody else, and you are golden. You have value, you have worth, and what happened to you as a child does not define who you are now. You are no longer that child over those years ago. But remember also that child in you or your child self will want to emerge as the brains go back to that moment. But you have to utilize self-control and remind yourself that you are an adult now, and you're not at a place where you can't help yourself. You can help yourself and protect yourself, and you can overcome what you have gone through, and you can help other children too who may be going through childhood sexual abuse. Now, another point I want to leave with you today before I go where childhood sexual abuse is concerned, as you deal with it as an adult, is that there is life after childhood sexual abuse. Yes, yes, yes. Come on, smile with me. Let me see your pretty face. There is life after childhood sexual abuse. So whether you're a male or a female who was abused sexually as a child, that does not determine your life. That does not determine your joy. That does not determine your future. You just happen to be one of the statistics of childhood sexual abuse. But that does not define your life. You can still live your full life. You can still live your rich life. You can become anything you want to become. And guess what? When you reach a place in your life, when you find your life partner, and you have decided to engage in a rich relationship, you can love that person, you can care for that person, your body is valuable, and so that person can love you too. All right, so I want you to help yourself as you help your others to move on to this recovery road. All right, so as an adult, if you are experiencing the flashbacks or the effects of your childhood sexual abuse, don't give in. Don't give up on yourself. Seek the external help that you need. All right. Again, you can speak to a physician. You can speak to psychologists. You can speak to pastors that are trustworthy. You can speak to a trustworthy friend or family. But guess what? Don't do it alone. In terms of, don't go through this adult trauma that comes from your childhood alone. All right. Seek help, and guess what? Put your best foot forward and live your best life. All right, live your best life. You can do it. Yes, you can. Counselor Sasha Lee Edwards, believe in you. Come on. I know you have family and friends and co-workers who believe in you. And guess what? I know somewhere deep down inside of you, you believe in yourself. And the world needs persons like you that have gone through some form of childhood sexual abuse to help others who are struggling right now as adults with that situation, and to be on the lookout for children who are going through that. Remember, God spared your life so that you're still here with us. So therefore, use this experience not to shut you down, not to shut out the world, not to give up, but use this experience. Tell your story when you feel most comfortable to, and let others know that there is hope. All right, there is hope after childhood sexual abuse as an adult, and that even as an adult who have gone through childhood sexual abuse, you're still handsome, you're still beautiful, your body is still good. All right, and there is a man out there to love you, and there's a woman out there to love you, and God is expecting you to shine in your best self. All right, take as much time as you need to heal, but ensure that you have started on your healing journey. This is your girl Sasha Lee Edwards, and as I leave you today, just know, hello, that there is life after childhood sexual abuse. Please remember, face your sexual abuse as an adult that you went through as a child. Don't let it overcome you. You can, come on, overcome it. You can be healed. You can be made whole. You can be made whole, all right? Because again, there is a beautiful life, even as an adult, after experiencing childhood sexual abuse. Until then, see you next time for your next counseling tip. Love you as always. Mwah. And I wish you all the best on your journey in this rich life.